Welcome back to another episode of CGC Podcast. As usual, I have my co-host,
Cal 313.
and we're back from was it 3 or 4 week hiatus, maybe?
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of
real world.
vacation time. We both have jobs. Thing crunch came up, but enough about our life stories. Let's get into some of this gaming news. First of all, let me ask you, what have you been playing over the last few weeks?
Still on my RPG backlog battle. So far this year, I've taken out Transistor, Dragon Quest 12. Just wrapped up. Just wrapped up Dragon Quest 12. Before that, I did Tales of Arise and its DLC. I did do the main story for Dead Island 2. And now I'm about 47 hours into Nino Kuni Remastered on
Okay,
Steam, and I'm predominantly playing on Steam Deck.
you have been
Uh,
busy.
oh man, I am knocking out these RPGs. I'm trying to really get through them, and this one coming off of 12 Dragon Quest,
Hmm.
that engine, the game engine is just fantastic. And you've got the Akira Toriyama artwork, but then you're moving to the Studio Ghibli style artwork and story and innocence, and it is a fantastic game. I'm smiling about it when I talk about it right now.
You're
But
playing part one now, not part two.
playing part one,
Okay.
I just thought I beat the game, and now it's turned into
Something
Walking
else.
Dead or something. Yeah, it is. It is fantastic.
Okay.
Great characters. Uh, the animation and transition from in game to kind of like the anime
Okay.
is just fantastic. Like everything about this game is just super. I know it's won all the awards, but it's new to me, right? Like I
Right.
booted it up and
Sure.
never really got into it.
I mean,
So
sometimes getting into stuff late is good because everybody's talk about it dies down. You don't have spoilers and stuff like that.
oh yeah,
That's been the main reason I've played a lot of games at a much later date. Like I still haven't touched Resident Evil 4 remake, mind you. I beat it back in the day, so I
yep.
know how it plays. But I don't want to see any footage of it. I want to go into it fully surprised because they were like speed runs up the weekend after it came out, which is
So
ridiculous.
you've witnessed my addiction to Resident Evil 5, especially online with Mercenaries, right?
We ran 6 together.
Yes, ran six together.
Resident Evil
And
6, by the way.
yeah,
No Diddy. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So I'm a huge Resident Evil guy, a big Dead Rising guy. I
Wish they
haven't
would bring that one back.
haven't beat any of the new remakes of Resident Evil 2, 3,
Hmm.
4. Haven't beat 7 or 8 yet. Booted them up, played them a little bit, really liked them, pushed them to the
Seven,
side.
seven is so me and you have had this conversation before about anxiety.
Yeah,
I've played through a good portion of the early part of 7. It is scary as all get up. And
yeah, yeah.
then a mutual friend of ours, Rodney, tried to get me to so Rodney was
VR.
on this kick at one point where he was having me play games so that he could get the cinema of it. And I beat The Last of Us really because of him. I beat the original Last of Us because him and his girl watching me play through it. So now he's been on a thing where he wants me to play RE7 in VR, and I don't have the stomach for it. It's too
Man,
much. And like speaking of which, what I have been playing is I've been because I'm in work and things picked up because we're at the end of the year and get things going with that. I've really been playing really quick stuff. I was playing X Defiant for a minute, kind of fell off
okay,
that. Finished up the battle pass of Battlefield. Finished up
okay.
the last battle pass for Rainbow Six. Playing a new Rainbow Six. A lot of people cheating in that damn game. And believe
Yeah,
it or not, I've been getting into and I play only like quick match and casual mode, and it's still like littered with cheaters. And I've been playing this card game with another mutual friend of ours, Kevin,
Loto.
called Marvel Champions.
Marvel Champs. Okay, yeah.
Pretty cool cooperative card game. We played in person and over Google Chat. And I guess I'm getting old now. Man. I'm getting into board games. Marvel has a ton of board games, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah,
A ton of
yeah.
like it's
Marvel
like
Racing.
Warhammer levels.
Mm-hmm.
Like Warhammer has a ton of video games. There's a ton of like Marvel board games. It's ridiculous, actually. Um, other than that, with things dying down at my job, and I'm about to go on vacation starting next week. I plan on finishing up. I'm going to 100% the DLC for Dead Island 2 because
Okay.
I finished up Hoss in the actual base game. Platinum then on PlayStation. So now I'm going to finish 100% it on Xbox. From that, I'm probably going to move on to Resident Evil 4 on PS5. I'm trying to get a couple of these adventure games done. I'm probably try and work my way towards some kind of RPG. I really need to finish Like a Dragon, the
Yeah.
first one, because I kind of have interest in the second one.
That's
But
turn-based, right?
yeah, it's actually like Dragon Warrior. As a matter of
Okay.
fact, the Dragon Quest rather, the main character has an obsession with Dragon's Quest.
Okay. Cool.
Like
Cool.
he loves that. He loves that game.
They both
So
have casinos in them, so
well, they both got casinos and it's a
right.
job system too.
Yeah.
So it's literally like Sega's version of Dragon Quest, and it's cool. I think you would like it, especially seeing how you just finished 12. But other than that, man, yeah, that's what I've been playing. I've really been trying to come home and get, and of course WWE 2K and grinding that game, and God, that game is so egregious, but it's such a good playing wrestling game. Like wrestling
Yeah.
games haven't played that well in a very, very long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I put a
Um,
lot of time in 23. Not so much in 24, but I put a ton in. And it's very
yeah,
similar in just
very similar.
yeah.
But other than that, man, what's we a lot of stuff has happened. A
Yeah.
lot of stuff has happened in the last few weeks, man. So I believe you got the headlines for us, man. Just kick us off, man. Let's get going.
All right. Midnight Society and Twitch send a letter to Dr. Disrespect telling him wop wop wop, you're not like us. What are your thoughts
Oh
on this
wow,
whole situation?
you did that, huh?
Mm,
Okay, wow.
he did it.
Yeah. Well, look, man. I I really got into Dr. Disrespect streams during the pandemic, being stuck in the house and whatnot. There's a couple of people I watch. I actually watched this young black couple that meet up, start dating, and eventually get married over the over the pandemic. So that was like a really positive thing I watched. Shout out to them. I think it's Desi and Juvir. I
Was
watched them, like their relationship happen over the pandemic. And then
was
Dr.
that on
Dis that was
was
on
that on
YouTube.
social? That was
That was
okay.
on
Not
YouTube.
your bedroom window, right? Just
No, that would be weird. Uh and then I actually also watched a lot of Dr. Disrespect, Shroud, Tim the
okay.
Tap Man. You always gotta make things weird. Uh let's see. I watched a lot of those, but Dr. Disrespect was the guy that stuck out because of the production values and things of his videos, the green screen stuff, uh the cuts and everything. He has like the highest production value, but little did I realize, and I think most people didn't realize because Twitch kept it in their pockets until these two recently let go employees of Twitch kind of just went on the internet and said, yeah, Kendrick inspired us. This guy's into PDF files or something like that. So I guess the story is that when he was banned from Twitch, uh, it involved the messaging, the improper messaging of solicitation to a minor. Of course, we never knew about it, and it just was weird that he all of a sudden was just dropped. He had already like disappeared for a while because of I guess being unfaithful to his wife, and apparently this situation may be the expansion pack to that situation.
Oh,
Jesus, did I just say that? I did.
mm, yes,
Where
yes.
it
Oh, good.
compounds onto it, where it's just like, well, apparently when he was doing that, he may have been messaging this minor, and I don't know, man. It's just like for me, uh you always end up disappointed by somebody famous that you thought was like, okay, that I admire how they do the thing that I know them for. But like I'm at this point, like 2024 seems to be a cleansing year or something, and everybody who's doing something dirty is just having the biggest spotlight shined on them to the most ridiculous extent. And we're only in month 6,
Yeah.
and so far, he's like the third big personality. I won't mention the other two, even though I kind of alluded to one before, that has been accused of weird weirdo activity. And that's the nicest way I can put it. But yeah, man, like, and it's crazy. It's like watching a castle fall piece by piece. Like you saw Tim the Tatman kind of disavow him, and Nick Merckx, who oddly enough he joined in not playing Call of Duty because Call of Duty, recognized Pride Month. And Nick Merckx
Uh,
made this whole thing about, oh yeah, as long as they stay away from kids. And it's like, well, I mean, you kind of walked right out the door with a guy who apparently, like I thought that was interesting, right? And
yeah.
Ninja disavowed him. As you said, he got kicked out of his own damn development team. So I'm guessing that Dead Drop game is gonna be dropped dead. Boom, boom. And other than that, like I got nothing else to say, man. Like people are literally unfollowing him on live saying, yeah, you need to disappear. It's like it's the end of it's the end of an era, man. Like, but you can't do that shit and walk around here free, man. I don't ever co-sign or condone any of that stuff. And I mean, he even made a statement where he essentially admitted that, yeah, he had that conversation with an underage girl. And it's like, bro, you gotta go. And it's like,
Yep.
delete his channel, get all of that shit out of there. I don't want to see it anymore. Like it's like Chris Benoit matches. Like if they pop up years from now, fine, whatever clips. But I don't want to. If everybody decides to just give it, YouTube disassociates, and Twitch is already just like, hey, it is what it is, man. Like, get them up out of
Yeah.
there. I understand the content being gone. I can't save you at that. It's not my job to save you anyway. You make way more money than me, but I can't speak up for you. And it's like that shit is deplorable, and I can't. So
Question 2 for this.
shoot
I
it.
want you to think about it before you just say yes or no.
Right.
Can we make the thumbnail for this episode a GPS, like Google Maps Photoshop of his house with a
I'm not trying to get sued.
okay. All
No,
right. Okay. So
I don't
then
have Kendrick
next
Lamar money to make Kendrick Lamar moves. We can let that go.
next up, let's get a bit of lighter, better, more interesting news here. Something to make you guys feel good. Elden Ring.
Huh.
The new DLC is
This ain't
out.
gonna make some of y'all feel good. I
Oh,
guarantee you
this
that.
I love it. This is
He
wonderful.
loves it because he doesn't
Um,
like Souls games. But let's get it going.
oh, I don't hate them, but
Really?
no, I don't. Yeah,
Oh,
no.
so you feel the same way about him I feel about Kojima games then, right?
Yeah, I guess I feel
I
like they're the
hate
same.
Kojima games. I
I
hate
feel
them.
like I feel like Kojima games are bad too, but I
I didn't
would
say they were
rather.
bad. I hate them. He wasted my time for a whole game. They hyped that game up. It was a waste of my
Yeah.
time. Nothing in it ever really happened, apparently. Fuck that game. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't continue.
So anyway, the new DLC has come out,
Uh-huh.
and I just want to break down some information for you. Okay, so this new DLC came out. Steam has a weird kind of uh,
Ah,
calculations, but what they're showing right now, if you go in and you actually look at it, around 40,000 positive reviews, around 20,000 negative reviews. The positive reviews have kicked in a little bit higher recently to try to combat the negative reviews.
yeah,
But
the fan base retaliating.
here's some truths about Elden Ring.
Here we go.
1/3 of players made it far enough in the game
To actually partake in the DLC.
to access the DLC.
Right.
This is one thing I want you guys to remember. Two, everyone likes seamless drop in, drop out co-op. The idea of finding things and mixing them together to have a limited co-op for a limited time, whatever kind of nonsense From Software does to cover the fact they have terrible net code, the same way that Capcom covers their bad AI and scripting for their partners in Dragon's Dogma by saying, "Hey, them being dumb is a feature, right?" Okay. Uh,
Oh boy, you are
yeah.
really rolling in it tonight.
Oh
Gee
yeah.
whiz, this is gonna be interesting.
Same where Microsoft tries to say, 30 frames per second is cinematic, right? Like
No,
somebody.
no, no, you can't pin it on them. Sony did that first.
Oh, whoever did it, whoever
Sony
did
did
it.
it first. Sony called it filmic.
Whoever tried to pitch that to you, right?
Yeah,
Like we just sold a crock, right? So here's the thing. So we've got one third of people have got far enough to beat it.
right.
We got one third of people saying this is straight trash. And
Wow.
so what's interesting is the
Crash.
responses. The responses to why they are the way they're moving the goalposts. So these are some of the things that I saw. One, they try to attack China. They said a lot of these review bombs are coming from China, which
Huh?
could be true. Which could be true, right? Chinese Steam users, whatever. Um, which I don't believe, right? I believe that the ones on Steam
I
are
mean,
from the
if it
U.S.
was a Blizzard game that just recently got pulled out of there, that like when Overwatch got super negative bombed, that was definitely a lot of Chinese players who had lost their accounts because they pulled
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
But
Well,
like,
there are Chinese on Metacritic. There are a lot of Chinese sites beating it, but here's the reason why. This is the
right.
reason why that one of the guys on two of the guys on either IGN or Kind of Fun, I forget which one I was watching.
Hmm.
This is what they were making. They were saying that the reason why the Chinese gamers are upset with the DLC and didn't like Elden Ring in the first place and don't tend to love super hard games. This is how they try to rationalize it. Is that they don't have enough of an internet community to support them when they
Huh?
play. Oh yes, to support them when they play these games.
Are we talking about the same region? You talking about Asia, right? China
No,
in
no, no. We're talking about.
Asia Major,
And,
or
we're talking about China, and China does have limits to how you use the internet. They block out a lot of stuff.
okay,
We get that,
okay,
right?
I guess, but
But
like,
hold on. But this is what they're arguing. So this is the actual subtext of that argument. What they're saying is that people who paid money to play the game, a single player game, are upset because they don't have access to go to YouTube, learn what's the best build, and watch a walkthrough. These
ah,
same sites are the ones that sell you. Well, IGN I think has a special edition Bloodborne walkthrough coming out, right?
hmm,
Like, so these same sites are the ones selling you the walkthrough. They're driving traffic through their walkthroughs. Um, the whole From Software mentality of making a hard game and letting the community work around it, that's not a feature.
so it's all cut off from them.
Yeah, but that's getting back to what I said before. It's not a feature. That is the
Mm.
failure to make a good game. When you make your game unaccessible to people, you are inviting them to not like it, and that's fine, right? But with all these people running around giving this game a 10, which has frame rate issues, micro technical issues that prevent it from running well, right?
Hmm.
Um, none of the none of the benefits of playing a role playing game. You're some guy with a name that no one directly talks to. There's no villages. There's no one to save. They dish you at the very beginning of the game. You're maidenless. What? This is incel the game, right?
Oh boy, you are really
They say
you're
that.
you're in the deep
the,
water,
the
dog. Oh my
first guy
god.
you meet calls you maidenless.
I got 90 hours in the game. Continue.
So here's my thing.
I think 90 hours. I can't remember. Let me check. Go ahead.
They are this same group. This is the same group of people that have been running with the exact same uh let's save Sony at all cost mentality. Let's demonize Microsoft at all cost mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though these are just brands. These are just brands. This is
They're just
Coke and Pepsi.
corporations, and
Yeah.
it's like you shouldn't be rooting for one overwhelmingly over the other. Like, but go ahead.
Have your favorite directors, have your favorite game creators, have your favorite programmers.
Exactly.
If
Exactly.
if you really care who's the best C++ platform organizer on a game, I'll rock with you. That's
Right.
if Ben Strapick is your guy, whatever, man. Let's go with it. But if you back in a big tech company and saying, "Yo, these are my homies," that's weird. First and foremost,
It's
right?
super weird, but that's also why you get a lot of the flipper floppers, right? The
Yes.
dudes, I hate Microsoft now because they want to make
Uh.
money. It's like, oh, really? You hate corporations because they want to make money? Wait till
Oh
you see
yeah.
what Sony does like 2 years after they do it.
Oh
Like,
no. Sony put Sega out of business, y'all. Come on.
exactly.
Uh,
Like, shut up already.
but the idea of driving a game that's highly unaccessible, known frame rate issues since day one.
Keep on tap dancing, dude.
Oh man.
Keep on tap
And
dancing, dude. You
saying
really
that the
going
fix
in, bro.
for it, saying that the fix for it, just like the explanation of the lore for it, which means the story for it, all happens outside of the media content you bought, and it's up to you to find on YouTube from third-party sources. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
What don't? Okay, so you said a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
the full context. I between the two of us, I am the one who will at least try some
I bought
Souls
them
games.
all. I bought them all. I booted
As
them
if
up all.
as have I.
Yep, yep.
But
I'm pretty far
what
as
what
Bloodborne.
what I tend to do is at the very least play them for a certain amount of time, and then I don't get mad because I can't win. I just
Yeah.
get bored of them because
Yep.
I like my biggest problem with Souls games isn't that they're hard. Is okay, fine, they're hard. I kind of know what I'm getting into when I buy them because nerds and word of mouth. Oh, it's really hard. You should try it. So that's not my problem. My problem is because the stories are literally, unless I'm willing to sit there and listen to babble, they're non-existent. I need
Yeah.
a purpose. Otherwise, I'm just a dirty dude in stinking armor running around smacking stuff and
Yeah.
getting smacked by stuff I don't see. Like, and I'll play that game for a while, and it's like the Neos and Elden Rings and Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I'll play those games for a while. Even the one that Focus makes where you cut off the robot arms, that one's cool. But
Yeah.
again, the story is just like, what the hell? Why am I even doing this shit?
Yep.
So
And
I'll
why
play
is
those games
the
for a while, but it's like eventually I get bored because the story, there's nothing pulling me forward other than,
no?
oh, the next challenge. Like, dude, I'm 40 plus years old.
Yeah.
I would like a story with my game that's competent and makes sense and is intelligible enough to the point where it's like my simple brain can follow it because I look at computer screens all day. I'm not trying to do it. When I play a game, I want to be entertained.
Yeah.
And the Souls games do that for me, right? From a challenge standpoint, but it's like the stories, like again, like you said, you're kind of just a dude in the middle of a field smacking shit and getting smacked by shit, and then dying because said shit smacked you too hard, and then coming back, getting your stuff, and then leveling up till you can smack whatever smacked you harder and kill it, and it's rinse, recycle, repeat until you get it in the game. And it's
Yeah.
like a salute to the people who love those games. I'm not knocking you like
Oh, I'm
Maurice will.
knocking. I'm knocking.
Yes, I foretold
I'm
that.
knocking. Yeah. Get the cat
I am not
fired.
knocking you. Enjoy what you enjoy, but it's just like for me, the story of those games, like I still don't know. And I'm looking up how much time I spent in Elden Ring right now. I still don't know what the fuck is that game is about.
Yeah.
I don't
Uh,
know. They said George R. R. Martin helped them write it, and it's like as far as from what I can tell, Game of Thrones is a way more straightforward story than this shit.
so
Um,
I'm with Black Hokage on this. I feel like y'all frauds. Um, I feel like y'all doing a lot of copy and paste, right? I feel
okay.
like a lot of y'all are using seamless co-op to get through the game. And I have no problem with that. I think a lot of y'all using summons to get through the game. I don't have a problem with that, right? But what I really think is that a lot of people, I
Okay,
think
I have
all
a,
games, I think
I have
all
a,
games work on a trial and error gameplay loop at a certain level.
I got a day, 9 hours and 32 minutes in that game, and I still only have 3 achievements.
Yeah, 30 hours. That's
Jesus
rough.
Christ.
That's rough.
And that 3
That's
achievements.
rough.
I had the achievement every 10 hours in that game,
Is
and it's
that
just
mostly
like
farming
I don't
or just
feel I
exploring?
had to farm. Are you serious?
Yeah, see, that's
I
another
had to.
thing, right?
It's like, but I don't know. At 30 hours in the game, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know why I'm doing any of this. It's just a bunch of Norse mythology shit
yeah.
and
Not
big
even that bad.
giants with dick horns growing out of their stomachs
Yeah.
and a horse that looks like an elk. And there's one area where there's these big, dirty East Side Detroit dogs running around, and they're like 4 times the size of you and your horse combined. It's just like, dude, I don't know why and that's literally like if there was a story that was in the game. I'm not doing that Destiny shit where I gotta go to the website to read all of the Grimoire cards or something.
Yep,
If
yep.
there was a story in the game that was straightforward and told me why the hell I'm doing all this, I probably would have finished the game. I know
Oh yeah,
people who finished the game, but a lot of them even finished it only through co-op. And since nobody has it on the platform, well, you do, but you ain't gonna play it.
I'll play it on
So
PC with you. I'll play it on PC.
I'm
See
not
the
on PC.
co-op.
I have it on. I wouldn't dare waste my Steam Deck time with that shit.
Oh,
I have it on Xbox. So if you download it on your Xbox, we can run through it. You know what I'm saying? But like, dude,
all right.
I have no motivation to play because the story, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Which
And I'm not about to watch a 5-hour lore video on Asmongold's channel or some shit to figure out
that's,
what's going on.
that's my thing, right? Like, so let's take another Souls like Remnant. Ran through both of those. Love those games. Have about 20 hours in each.
Nowhere near as hard as the African Souls like, and it has the story is right in your face.
Right in your face, and it's guns instead of melee, which is at its core
What
always
what
feels better.
what to you?
Yeah, to me,
That's
yeah,
an
yeah,
opinion, right? But like,
yeah, yeah.
truth be told, the only reason well, I didn't beat Remnant because you fucking left me behind. Thanks a lot, by the way. But Remnant, I will at least say this: I knew what was going on
Yep.
from the time I started to the time I end up getting left behind by my friend, for other people. But and really that was my fault because a lot of work shit popped up. Which is why I can't finish games nowadays. What it is. But I knew what was going on in that game, right? The world had kind of went to apocalypse. Fucking fairy tale monsters had started popping up. Human beings had powers. There was a couple other details I'm missing. I know we fought a guy in a big dining hall who was like a
Hmm.
cannibal,
Yep.
and
You got hub villages though.
yeah,
You
you
got
got
places
hub
to
villages, you
go
got
and talk and yeah.
storylines. There was the world felt alive instead of me just like,
Hmm.
okay, so you know what? It just snapped at me. I can watch Berserk.
Yep.
I don't want to exist in the world
Yep.
of fucking Berserk. That
Grimdark,
shit
man.
is depressing and is trash.
All
I don't
Grimdark
want to
is
visit it.
not
Like
fun.
Berserk is one of those games where if they made an MMO for it, I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? You're just gonna
Hmm.
lose money because no one wants to live there.
It's why I tapped out on um and I'll get back to it, man. But I just never, I went through Slay the Spire. I went through a handful of these roguelites, right? I even went through that really terrible. I can't remember the name of it. It was when they came free on the PlayStation.
Right.
Um, but when I tried, what's the one where you go mad and go crazy in your squad? You're like 3 man, 5 man squad,
The
and it's
line.
like, what you
Spec
say?
Ops the line. Spec Ops the line.
No, this is a 2D roguelike grim dark RPG kind of thing.
Oh,
It's
you
like
talking about
Fallen Legion.
the one where the guys go fear based and your
Yeah,
team's lined up on one side. The sequel to that actually has a pre-order up right now.
yeah. It's already out.
Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, Darkest Dungeon. So I tapped out on Darkest Dungeon. Even though I'm at the very end of Fallen Legion, I gave up. I gave up at the end of Fallen Legion. I gave up at the end of uh uh SteamWorld Dig, and I didn't give up, but because they forced me to not use the strategy I was already using, I just got to go back and actually figure out what to do because
Right.
the damage output by those bosses just shoots all the way up. But Darkest Dungeon, I played for like 20 minutes. I was like, this this is a lot to.
And it's to the point where there's a market for that. So
Oh yeah,
recently
I get it. I
I
get it.
discovered no, well, there's a super dark market. So you know how you talk about
Yeah, Grimdark is crazy.
those hentai games and stuff that are on Steam. There's a set of games made in RPG Maker on Steam. I forget the name of them, like something of sin or something like that. And it's like the like your character you pick like one of 8 characters and you go into this dungeon. And when I tell you the way you can die in that game is some of the like I'm talking about like full on grape
Oh, oh,
and
Paul.
murder
Hold
and
on. We ain't doing this. You start that sentence off with, you know how you be talking about them hentai games
yeah,
on
because you
Steam?
do.
I it's on me and then tell me about the game. I never played one of them games.
I didn't say you played them. I said you talk about them.
Disrespectfully.
No, no,
You
no.
said, like, yo, you know how
See,
they.
you took it that way. Anyway,
Yo.
there's a series of RPG Maker games on Steam
You know,
where like they look like regular grimdark style RPGs,
uh,
and when the fail cases in that game are like the
yeah,
shit of nightmares. Like the worst
yeah.
stuff happens to you, and they pixelated and animated that shit piece, but like you see it, and it's like I can't play no shit like I'm not. I don't want to see that. I don't
Oh,
want to
yeah,
play
yeah,
that. I don't want to
yeah.
see that. I'm
Well,
good on that.
my thing isn't even
But
my
you know,
problem with the thing that was
whoever
going
wants it,
back to the fact that
God bless you.
the media has to support the game. Like the community has to tell people how to play the game. The community to tell people where to find the items. The community has to tell people. If you have
About
to
like the
do all
message
that,
system and stuff, right?
yeah, no, YouTube. They're literally talking about YouTube walkthroughs and
Mhm.
builds. And during their playthroughs, because I've been watching kind of funny playthroughs, watch a couple other people's playthroughs. They reference other people's builds, so it's a self-sustaining behavior of
It's old
relying
school
on the top.
Nintendo stuff. It's
It,
old school
it,
Nintendo stuff where you discuss strategies and you trade bills and ideas and stuff
yeah,
like that. You see that in everything now. Like first person
yeah,
shooters, Call of Duty
yeah.
has that.
Fighting games are
Even
notorious for them, right?
fighting
But that's
games have
competitive.
Steam bills. Like even
Yeah,
what's the game? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's a guy named Arctic, and there's
yep,
another guy named Caliber, and they just show people their bills for victims
yep,
and family killers, and they run through a couple games of them. They're actually
yeah.
pretty entertaining to watch too. But yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So what you guys are doing is when you buy any games with that kind of concept, well, like, oh, I'll just use the external walkthroughs and whatchamacallit because the game isn't developed well enough to lead me
Oh boy.
in a visual journey down this road. What you are doing is you're playing the Nintendo game. Let's make these games. Let's make some
Oh
of them
my
unfairly
god.
difficult, and then let's sell you a copy of Nintendo Power. Yeah, yeah, you paying twice for
We're old enough to remember that. I'm not gonna comment. I'm gonna let him take all the smoke because he got a special hatred for them
it.
Souls lights, boy.
Well, not it's not even them. I feel like they're the same mentality as those super difficult platformers that we used to have that you used to have to go back and get Nintendo Powers for. I feel like it's the same corporate mentality. Because I'm looking at it from that point of view. I'm looking at it from
Selling the
we
game to
develop
sell you the magazine
and
and
selling the games and relying or being lazy, selling building the universe, not hiring a UI interface, right? And then allowing the YouTube community to tell people how to get
remember
everything
when
done.
GameStop used to try and force guides down your throat the day a
I
game
used to work
launched?
there.
Yeah. I did too for a Christmas season.
Yeah,
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 that was a thing.
yeah.
That
We
was
used to also
definitely
sell
a
you.
thing.
We used to also want to sell you console cleaners, right?
Yep.
So, so it's like, come on, man. Like, games should be self-contained unless they're multiplayer. If they're multiplayer, then that means that a
Yeah.
community can exist, right? But communities around single-player games, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, man. It's especially to just get through them.
So
Nothing wrong with having somebody who platinum for you, right?
Right.
Playthrough 2, you can get all the things, and if that's your thing, if you're a collector. But buying the game and having tabs open to play through the game,
Jesus, you are a menace. So you're telling me that the Chinese player congregation is justified in downvoting the game if
oh
indeed they are
yes,
the ones doing it.
yes, because they've historically done that to all super hard games because they don't play that. The game should be they pay their they work 9 by 9.
Mm.
No, no,
Wow,
they
this
they
guy.
work, they work 6 by 9s, right?
Holy
So
mackerel.
you work 6 by 9s. When you come home, you want to play something that you want to play, and Elden Ring ain't it. But you know what is it?
What's that?
Our next topic: DNF Dual Mobile just crossed $270 million in revenue. What do you
DNF
think about that?
DNF Dual Mobile. Is that a cell phone game?
That is a cell phone game from
I
Tencent.
am not surprised and I do not care.
They made more money than everybody this year off this game
Yeah, yeah,
combined.
yeah. I can believe that. I don't care. And
Uh,
congrats to them, but it's just like, yeah, cell phone games making a lot of money.
oh yes,
And this is a cell phone game with a huge legacy. Of course, there was a 360 version back in the day. It's got a fighting
yep.
game on
Oh, this is just
PS5,
Final
PS4, and
Fight. Just
PC.
the game is just Final Fight. It's just,
Yeah, but it's Final Fight with like endless level. It's the game that the Beats of Rage modders are constantly
mhm.
trying to catch up with, right?
Yep, yep,
So
yep.
it doesn't surprise me that it's doing well. Now that they put it in people's hands on cell phones, I'm not surprised by this. Like people were surprised when Streets of Rage 4 came out and did well. I'm like, you guys have literally been paying mods of that game for years. Of course,
Yes.
it did well because they're finally feeding you like it did so well that now they've made two Ninja Turtle games. Well, one Ninja Turtle game in vain of that. They're making a Power Rangers game. They got a G.I. Joe game coming out.
Mhm.
And apparently there's a Fighting Force collection of all
Oh yeah,
things coming out.
yep.
Who
And
the
let's
hell asked
not
for that?
forget
But whatever, right? It's
it.
coming.
It allowed River City. River City Girls kind of led into that, right? But like River City Girls is back. Double Dragon is back. That last one was amazing, and they're making another
We
one
still need to
now.
play that one. Yep.
Yeah, super good, super good. Do avoid playing it with anyone with guns though. At
That
least for your first
franchise,
run.
those games should have never gone away. Beat 'em up should have never died. Like I don't understand how they died, but I'm glad they're back. But it's like that seems like a genre where it's like there was no reason for anybody to stop making them,
Yeah,
but they just
2D,
kind of
2D.
did.
The industry wanted to move away from 2D.
I mean,
That's
just
all.
make
I
3D
mean,
ones. Like, cause
yeah, yeah, but
I'd be remiss to say Die Hard Arcade wasn't good or Dynamite Decker, which is
no,
the unofficial sequels.
yeah, those are really good. But 2D, I think 2D is superior. I think those
Uh,
2D
I,
beat
I,
'em ups are just
look. I'll say this. Generally speaking, they are, but like Die Hard Arcade, that was the first time
that was
like
a
I saw
goer.
combos you could do like
Chain grabbing.
whole ass WWE wrestling
Yep,
moves
yep.
like that. Those
Like
games were cool.
King.
So they're very well made Sega games, and then Sony
Yep,
killed them. What's the next topic?
yeah. All right. Uh, let's talk about the lies. So the same
Uh
group
oh.
that does everything they can to push you, make you buy games that don't sell, that people don't beat, right?
Right.
Because 6% of gamers, I'm sorry, no, was it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So based on what Hikage was showing from his thing, 60% of players don't even buy new games.
No, they don't.
So they're playing
Which
old
is why
games, right?
Game Pass is a great thing.
Yep, which
But
is
we
why Game
can
Pass is a
that's
great
just
thing.
on the side because most people ain't buying this shit. But go ahead.
But the same people that are looking for ways to yell, "Oh, you got to buy discrete games," and telling you to buy physical media, don't.
And hate Game
Um,
Pass.
and hate Game Pass, and they
Weirdos.
love the hard games that no one beats, and they think that everybody should like CRPGs, which I love, but they ain't for everybody. I know that ain't for y'all. Um, they they're up to their tricks again, right? These same misinformation people.
Uh oh.
So Marvel vs. Capcom Collection got
Ah
announced.
yes.
This is a great thing. Was announced for any of the next gen systems.
Oh, that hurts. Yep.
Capcom is a business,
Absolutely.
and they declined to respond to why. Period.
Yep.
There's been some information to try and blame the next gen platforms for not having the ability to run MT
I
framework.
and
And
more specifically, I've heard Xbox has a very strict. You have to make a series,
yeah,
Xbox One version, and I heard them like that doesn't make sense.
no.
But go ahead. I'm not going to cut you off. But
So
like, because when I saw Ace Attorney Adventures in the Xbox store yesterday, I'm like, what are these fucking dudes talking about? The MT framework and stop.
you can run Fightcade on the Xbox in developer mode and play Marvel
All of
2
those games
with rollback. So
with
no,
rope.
no.
You just don't
Empty
get the fancy art book. That's it.
implementing first of all, so if anybody's been following the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 mod scene, right? Empty Framework is how they're getting those animation mods through. It is a programming language that has been cracked open,
By modders.
period.
Yeah.
Yeah, by period. Ooh, the
Ooh.
modders themselves could actually make this game on Xbox, right? Plus, Ultimate Marvel 3 runs off. So if you don't think that the Xbox has the power, raw, to just run the ROM
Oh, I'll tell you the excuse I heard, but
or
go ahead.
run the ROM collection, you are insane. So this is the truth. This is what I believe is the truth, right? Um, when Sony signed that deal to come out with Wolverine, they got the same deal, and this has been reported on multiple
With
sites,
the
including
X-Men
Forbes.
stuff.
Yep, including Forbes. They got basically the same deal they had with Spider-Man, where can Spider-Man appear on the Xbox? Sure. Can Spider-Man be the lead primary character? Can the game be named the Spider-Man game? No. So you can get Marvel Rivals, you can get Midnight Suns as Spider-Man, and X-Men characters, but they can't lead. They can't have an X-Men centric game on the Xbox, not to like 2036. If they were to come out with that package, because two of those games have X-Men names, they wouldn't be allowed to by their contract unless they were to work out a deal. Um, when the company, but it doesn't even matter what I think, right? At the end of the day, Capcom didn't put it on there because the money, whether it's tied to this contract or it's tied to the fact that maybe Street Fighter 6 sales aren't what they should be on Xbox, we don't know.
It's possible. I can see that.
Whether, yeah, because Xbox didn't get Street Fighter 5, it forced Xbox to become Tekken and Mortal Kombat territory.
Mm-hmm.
So like even my guys on there, I can't get them to play.
They play
Street
more
Fighter.
Dragon Ball probably than they do Street Fighter.
They play Mortal Kombat and Tekken more than Street Fighter. They play Tekken more than anything. Like Xbox
Right.
is really Tekken territory.
Right.
To Ken. Um, it took 2 years or so to get Guilty Gear over there. You know what I mean? Blazing Cross Tag.
Gotcha.
People didn't have the skills to deal with Power Rangers, so But even Skullgirls, they got wrapped up because they also have that thing where their marketplace has never changed since the last generation. Because of their backwards compats. So because of their backwards compats, there's an MSRP thing. There's a concern there that has to be ironed out. It's sort of the reason why, even though this wasn't a game, this was whitelisted, but there's still layers to it. The Skullgirl guys ran into a bunch of problems with it, which took them forever to basically create a new MSRP for Skullgirl's second encore. Because they really just couldn't update the old game, and they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have because they couldn't. That the original game was not selling like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they had to make a new, try to make as much profit as they could. But I really believe it's a Disney lockout. I believe Disney's back in the games, man. Disney's both back in the games, and they're not in the habit of controlling games anymore, which is a good thing. They're still probably have their proof of approval, stamp of approval. They won't let Sora rip Peter Parker's heart out or anything in Kingdom Hearts 5 or whatever. But it seems like they're going to be a lot more hands off. So hopefully we get a new Marvel. But the framework thing, what do you think about it?
I heard that because of Microsoft's policy of if you're going to make a backwards compatible or And a game for Xbox One, you have to make a Series S version. It was something weird. Like if you're gonna make something for Series S, you have to make an Xbox One version for smart delivery purposes.
Yeah.
I've basically heard it was a lot of weird stuff with Microsoft's policies, but what you said actually makes sense.
Oh yeah.
What people don't understand is I think a lot of shit is tied up in litigation.
Yep.
And just let me cook for a second.
Hmm.
I Since you explained it to me, I can completely believe that because some of the games are called X-Men, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Street Fighter versus X-Men. You cannot put those games on Xbox. That makes sense because the X-Men are, if you've seen the leaked Wolverine footage, very prevalent in that game. And I believe the multiplayer game that they are going to release on PlayStation is going to be an X-Men game and not the Spider-Verse game that was canceled. The footage is leaked out for that. Um, that makes sense and it's very clever by Sony, and kudos to them for that. Uh, I would say to Xbox brethren, if you do want to play those games, $20 dev mode, steal that shit. It is what it is. Just steal it. Whatever. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got all those games on my cell phone right now. I don't care. Right. I'm only buying it on the Switch because the physical little cartridge has all of the games. Actually, I don't have to download them according to what's been reported. Right. But like, steal that shit. Get the dev mode, get Fightcade, download it on there. It has rollback. It's probably gonna play better than the actual fucking ones on the what's called because Capcom puts the arcade ROMs in there with the super hard controls. If you played the Street Fighter collection, you know what I'm talking about. Good luck pulling a fucking Dragon Punch off on that game. You know what I'm saying? On a controller. So just steal it.
No,
It's
no,
like
no.
yes, no, fuck that. If you want to play the game and Capcom won't sell it to
Yeah.
you, steal that shit.
Or just buy get a Steam.
Steal $20 dev mode, steal it.
Get it.
If these corporations are gonna do these shitty deals to lock you out of games, you can't afford a PlayStation, you don't want to buy a PlayStation, you can't get a Steam Deck, steal that shit. It is what it is. Put it
Buy
on
it
your cell phone, put it on your Xbox, put it on your Series S, put it on your fucking computer, put it on your calculator if you got one that can run it. Steal the shit, steal it.
Do you think they'll re-release the phone versions of it?
It's a 20-year-old game. Who cares? Steal it.
30, right? Like, do you think they'll re-release the phone versions of it? The ones that they stopped updating because of the licensing deal?
Steal that shit.
Still,
Just steal. If you're on Xbox, just steal the shit. You literally have a $20 mode you can buy right now today. While PlayStation, like I gotta wait. Like literally, there's a watermark bullshit default date for the Switch release of the game, the PS5, PS4 release of the game. It's like 12/31/2024, right? Which is not the real date.
yeah,
That's the
it's still trying
stand-in
to do
date. You can get the $20 dev mode tonight on your Xbox. The night you listen to this, and find the ROMs on the internet. They're easy to find, and just steal the shit and play it rollback. If Capcom doesn't want your money, don't give
Oh,
them
they do.
shit. Steal
Oh,
it.
they do. They're
Hey,
hopefully,
clearly you don't want it enough. Steal that shit.
well, I mean, they coming on the biggest platform,
Let me
so
let me
they
tell you something. Look. Let me tell you something right now. If I only had an Xbox, and I have a PS5, I got a Switch, I got like 3 or 4 PCs, right? If I
Mhm.
only had an Xbox, and you motherfuckers is gonna sit here and tell me you'll sell me Ace Attorney, a fucking Game Boy game, but you won't sell me Marvel vs. Capcom, yeah, I'm stealing that shit. Steal it.
That's terrible. Terrible
Who the
information.
fuck wants Ace Attorney? You ain't a touchscreen with that shit. I don't want that. You selling me 2 Ace Attorney games. You didn't get like the Mega Man game. They was got mad about the Mega Man game. Oh, you can't give it a Mega game. I'm off. I'm for consumer first. That's why you never gonna hear me talk shit about Game Pass unless they start talking about $50 a month or something, right? You never
Say
gonna
real.
hear it. It may, but
Yeah.
as of right now, I ain't paid shit for it for 3 years because that
Oh
great
yeah.
reward program that Xbox has. Thanks, Microsoft. I will always be pro consumer. If they don't want to sell you a 24-year-old fucking game because of some corporate fuck shit that Sony and Disney got going on, steal that shit. Because you can play a better version of it with rollback on fucking Fightcade anyway. Steal it. Fuck them.
Or buy it for the PS3. No, you can't buy it anymore.
You
That's
can't buy
right.
it on there anymore. I
That's right.
downloaded mine.
Yeah,
You can't
I
buy it
own it.
anymore. I have
Yeah,
it on my PS3 right now that I'm looking at, and I can go play it right now. And
yeah,
if you still have your 360, play it that way. But
yep. I
if
got
you
it on there
really
too.
don't want to bring out them dusty ass old machines, just steal it. It's fine.
Or get a low powered PC and do it legally.
Or
You have
steal it.
options. You
Or
have options.
steal it. Or steal
Oh,
it. Fucking steal it. Because this is the problem, right? Like, and again,
I don't
uh,
recommend it.
well, I mean, I'm gonna get on the hot seat about this. You got on the hot seat. You got the Souls guys coming after you, so fuck it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this, okay? Namco's never going to make another Urban Reign. And I know a lot of people are like, what the fuck is that? It's this 5 or 6 Metacritic score game that was fucking awesome that came out on PS2. It was 4 players. It was like Def Jam Vendetta, but with Tekken physics and combos. It was amazing. But because it didn't sell well and it wasn't popular, I'll never get to play it again. Too bad I have a bootleg version on my cell phone and I actually have a physical copy of the game. I can play it anytime I want to. Because if Namco's not going to sell it to me, might as well steal it. Now, I have a physical copy of it. I do have a physical copy of it that was in a bargain bin, but I got it on my cell phone too. And I got it on my Steam Deck too. And I got it on my Raw Ally too. If they are not like that shit Nintendo does, like I pay for it, right? The Nintendo online service, whatever.
Yeah, it's $20 a year.
Most of those games on that shit suck. You know why they suck? Because they're the most popular games that I already played thousands of hours of, or there's some obscure, goofy ass puzzle game that I don't give two rats asses about. So all of that cool in between stuff that they won't put on there and they keep shutting down sites for, steal that shit. I ain't got time for that. Steal it.
Oh
Fuck these
no.
companies. Steal it. Just steal it. If they don't want to publish the game because fucking Sony and Disney are playing swords with each other, whatever, steal it. Who cares? Just steal it. Just get $20 dev mode right now. Install Fightcade and steal it. You're okay. That's the game's $50. You pay $20 for it. The ROMs cost nothing because you're stealing. You're a thief. Steal it.
Or you could respect copyright, just buy the legal version.
Respect copyrights like they respect you as a customer and a fan of Marvel and just gauge Spider-Man and Sony until 2036. Steal it. Anyway, what's the next topic? Steal it. Like, I'm tired. Like, I don't mind exclusive. I don't mind exclusive deals. Like you said, they are the backbone of how a lot of the industry works. But we're even slowly seeing that die away, right? But I am not a fan, and I never will be a fan because I grew up, and you grew up in this era too, the Genesis Super Nintendo era.
Mm-hmm.
Because I grew up in that era, you were never allowed back then to weaponize someone else's IP and what was supposed to be neutral content against your competition. I'm beating you with Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm beating you with Mario Brothers. I'm not beating you with Spider-Man because even though, yes, Sega made a Spider-Man game, Acclaim made one for the Super Nintendo. Even though, yes, Sega made 2 X-Men games, Acclaim made 2 or 3 for the Super Nintendo, and Capcom made one for the Super Nintendo. You were never locked out of playing with these characters you like because you chose one plastic box or the other. And now you got these shitty corporate deals going on, and Microsoft's only sharing. Actually, I want to go off on the side on this. Microsoft's only sharing because the FTC is still on their ass, because the FTC knows the moment they let up on them, they're going to buy something else really big. And the first excuse they're going to use is, oh, but we're sharing.
We're third party. We're third party company.
We're third party. And it's going to work. Yeah, that's the sad part. And I told you guys, I told you guys about this last summer. I said, you're laughing.
That was the whole strategy.
Because I told these guys in the video, and I'm going to link it to this. I said, you're laughing because I think it was what's the British one?
CMA or whatever.
CMA blocked it because CMA blocked it around the time. So you guys are laughing at it, but it's like all it's going to do is make them do some super corporate fuck shit to make it go through, and then they're going to buy something else you like, and then we'll see how you laugh. So laugh at this if you're a phony guy because it's funny. Xbox guys steal that shit. And once the FTC gets off their back, you're not only going to see them flood that Game Pass with all of those Activision games, because what they don't want to do is flood them with those games and then have to divest on
Yeah.
the off chance. There's like a small 1% chance of being forced to divest, especially when they're actually publishing games. Sometimes even day and date, like the Doom games and the updates for the Elder Scrolls Online and stuff like that. So what they want is and I think the FTC's main lawyer just quit on that case. So the FTC's run out of ammo for it, but they're keeping them at bay from fully closing. Once that happens and they put those games in Game Pass, they're going to go hunting for something else. And all you dudes is laughing about a 20-year-old game not being on Xbox. Don't be mad when these motherfuckers buy Capcom or something.
I would not flood with all the Activision
Oh, it'll
games.
be a trick. It'll be a trickle
I
thing,
would
right?
trickle. Yep, yep.
But
Because
I'm
you
saying
gotta.
flood
Yeah.
metaphorically, as in like there'll be like a batch of 8, then a batch of 8, then a
Oh
batch
yeah.
of 10, or
Yep.
something like that, right? Because that's what they got that whole backwards compatibility
Yep.
team together for.
I
But
I wouldn't have even released Rare Replay if I was them. I would have just gave a rare game out every month. I'd have
yeah,
slow trickled it.
that's smart. But they weren't that smart back then.
Yeah.
Now they own some super evil fuck shit and it's working. And y'all motherfuckers is laughing because again, a 20-year-old game didn't get on there. Again, it's not gonna be funny a year from now when all of this folds over. Xbox guys, that Marvel, steal that shit. And I'm gonna keep saying that, steal it. Fucking, but yeah, just
Yeah.
watch and see. It's a bunch of corporate fuck shit. I warned you guys about this before. You don't spend $100 billion over the course of 5 years to be nothing. And if you think it's bad now, just off what I've told you, wait until you see how this whole Call of Duty and Game Pass things goes. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, we didn't get to talk about the what would have been the E3 things. We showing our age there, but that
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
That Call of Duty is the best Call of Duty's looked in years, and I find that very coincidental that
It.
they added movement, that they added back the old prestige system that guys been crying about.
Mhm.
The fatal blow,
Yeah.
and what'll be
They
funny is if they have a no skill based matchmaking playlist for this game,
they
because that's the
probably
main
will.
thing guys cry about.
Yeah, they probably will. So they listen to their digital media creators, right?
But here's
They
the thing:
listen to the fan base.
they've been saying, but that don't make no damn sense because they've been saying that for like 4 years. But
Yeah.
this year, when they're going in Game Pass,
Yeah.
now all of a
Yeah.
sudden, oh yeah, do everything they asked for. Why do you think that is?
Plus, it really helps. Well, one group is always kind of focused on making a different project, right?
Right,
What really helped this Call of Duty is that the last one was an expansion pack that was pushed out the door as full content, right? So it was 50% there,
right.
and multiplayer was still good. And so because of that, it allowed the fan base to still be there but want more. And just watching that video, that seemed like the more. Even though you're still talking about Black Ops, which is a totally different mindset anyway, right?
Yep.
Black Ops has always been movement and subs and LMGs.
Yeah, they were the first ones to have the dolphin dive and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
And then they brought back the in-game video playback. Like they
yeah,
literally every feature that people were like, you could put a highlight reel of people bitching. And I'm talking
yeah.
about the biggest Nero Cinema. Shouts out to him.
Hmm.
Blame Truth. All of these guys are big Call of Duty guys for the last 5 years. Been complaining about a lot of this stuff, and they bringing all of that stuff back. Plus the Omni movement shit is brilliant, and the fact
Yeah,
that they're making it so that you don't even have to hit buttons to do that. You can just focus on shooting. That's crazy.
yeah,
All they
yeah,
all they gotta do is when they had that multiplayer reveal, which I'm probably gonna be guessing is at Gamescom because Microsoft is bigging up Gamescom this year. Like it's gonna
yeah.
be
They're the
their
only
biggest
one there.
Gamescom booth ever.
Yeah,
So all they gotta do is say, yeah, we're gonna have a no SBMM playlist, just like X Defiant.
yeah.
It's a fucking wrap.
They
Over once they
so
do that. It's over once they do that.
both all. So I'm of the fence that all three of them showed content for their audience.
Oh, I bought.
It's
We
a
bought. We owned Concord. I bought that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But mainly that Sony one was mainly what Sony guys kind of raised to the top of the Sony library. Like, if Sony keeps coming out with these single player action adventure games, then their fan base is going to want more single player action adventure games, right?
Right.
So we know they're playing Call of Duty. We know they're playing Sea of Thieves, right? Before your press event, you're feeding the fans what you think they want. So when Sony did their press event that everyone was trying to crap on, it's like, nah, man. If you want to play as a ninja or a samurai or
If you want to play as a
action
ninja, Sony
star,
got like 6 games you can play a
yeah,
ninja
they
in.
got you. They got you. And there's nothing wrong with ninja games. There's nothing wrong with
No.
Souls like games. Nothing like
All
that.
Devil May Cry is a ninja in a red
Yep.
leather jacket, so
Yep.
it's the same stuff,
Yeah.
right?
If
But
you want
like,
Bayonetta is a beat 'em up too. It's just a
yeah,
3D one. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like Sony
I
appealed
like
to
pressing
that
square and
crowd.
then triangle to finish every once in a while.
Yeah. Sony, was when you play the first pursuit, you shoot the trigger instead of different button. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, well, God of War, you use the triggers to hit people, I think. So, I
yeah,
mean,
God of
even
War, you can do whatever.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. But it's
it's
just
got mini games
like
halfway through the fight.
I make fun of those. I make fun of those games because I think they make too many of them. But I like variety. But I also don't finish a lot of shit. So fuck my opinion, right? But at the end of the day, man, like I thought I was impressed enough with what I saw from Concord. Like, oh, a new hero shooter, cool. Speaking of
Yeah, that
which,
felt like
we
Guardian.
really need to play Gigantic. Apparently, 2 of our friends play it,
Okay, I'm down.
Kevin Rodney. So we need to get on that. But like, um, we you already got Smite. You know what I'm saying? Which
Smite 2.
we
Yeah,
definitely gonna be on this Smite too. That's gonna be dope.
yeah.
So like, look,
Marvel Rivals.
Like I'm not saying Concord looks like the most amazing thing ever, but I'm willing to try it. Plus, I used birthday money to get it, so it didn't cost me shit.
Yeah, it looks
Um,
fun. It looks fun, man.
it looks
As long as
fun.
we play our roles, it looks like we'll be able to have a good time. It's
Yeah.
just,
Now, do I think it's going to live very long? No, but I didn't spend my money on it, so who cares?
yeah. I think it's just the only problem with Concord is that Overwatch is the standard and Marvel Rivals is on its that
Marvel
level.
Rivals coming, Smite 2 will be out. Like, there's
Yeah.
literally a ton of hero games
Yeah,
that are gonna
count
be
all the
on the
mobiles.
market.
Yeah.
The MOBAs are hero games. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like Smite 2 is a hero game and it has
Yeah.
an embedded
Definitely less
audience.
skill needed though. Definitely less skill needed for Smite. Smite is more
Less
PO
Twitch skill.
related. Yeah, less switch
Less
skill,
Twitch
aiming,
skills.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So but like all of that stuff,
Strategy is important though. Yeah.
yeah, stretch, yeah. Well, super important. Good
Yeah.
God. But and you'll be carrying me through that. Gigantic came out and is essentially,
That was
from what
so
everybody's saying,
good.
is dead already. I hate that, but I think it might have been a few years too late on that one. But I mean, I paid for it. As long as they keep the service on, I don't give a shit. I'll play it.
Yeah, I'll
Uh,
hop into it. I'll hop
but
into it.
but like the only thing I don't like about Concord is its chances against the behemoths that's gonna line up against. But maybe being like, so they recently released a top 10 play games,
Uh-huh.
and on Xbox and PlayStation, most of the games are like games that Microsoft owns, which is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
But on like, because even the top 2 or 3 games is like a Microsoft game, NBA 2K, and then a Microsoft game. But on PC, the top 3 games were like Counter Strike, Helldivers, Destiny 2. So
Yeah.
Sony's doing well there, right? Because
Yeah.
those are their 2
Two
IPs.
are theirs, yep.
Yeah.
And they're both
So
games of service.
exactly. So everybody's doing well. Everybody's healthy. I'm fine with that. It's some games that are coming out. Like, I don't like Concord's chances, but maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I would like for it to be around. Like, I thought that I'm glad to see that X Defiant has an audience, because it was actually number 10 on each of those lists, right? And I'm glad to see that it has an audience,
Was
because
Con
it,
Go ahead.
uh Ubisoft kind of has this niche for making games that aren't the most popular games, but they're like, oh, this is the game I play also in this genre. Like Rainbow
Yeah.
Six isn't the most popular, but it was high on the Xbox. It wasn't in the top 10 on
Yeah.
PlayStation, but it was high on the Xbox
Ubisoft
list.
games kill internationally.
For
And that's
for
another
for Honor,
Yep.
still around. I didn't even know that they added all the characters they added to it, but it has a healthy community. And I think X Defiant is going to be that same thing, where it's never going to kill Call of Duty, but
Mm-mm.
it's going to be there. It's going to be just like that. That they make that that Smash Brothers clone that people barely talk about, but it's still around, and you can play like
Brawlhalla.
John
Yeah.
Cena versus Scorpion from Mortal Kombat and
Yeah.
Ryu. Yeah, that game's ridiculous though. Like, have you seen the cast on that game?
Yeah, so my problem with it, everyone plays the same at its core, and your
Yeah,
weapons kind of change it up.
yeah.
So I'm like, I'd rather just play Smash Brothers.
But it's popular as hell.
Oh yeah, that's all they guys. So if
It's
you're on
super
a system
popular.
that doesn't have Smash Brothers, you're playing Brawlhalla usually, or you're playing
Or
multiverse.
multiverses now, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, like I think Ubisoft is comfortable making games that are not like the game in that genre. But it's a popular game in that genre. They like sitting in
yeah,
that spot and you still making money, so who they'll care.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
think that's what X Defiant will be going forward because this Call of Duty is gonna make a lot of people forget about the game. If they do what I said they're gonna do and put on a skill-based matchmaking playlist, a lot of these guys that are making the X Defiant videos right now are gonna crawl right on back to COD, which is the
yeah.
penultimate goal in the first place, right? So, but I'm done with my rant on that. Like, once again, Xbox players, $20 dev mode, steal that shit.
Don't
Uh,
don't steal nothing.
steal it, steal
Don't
it.
steal.
Don't listen to this man. He hates Souls games. Steal that shit.
They won't make a new Marvel if you keep stealing it.
So what? Buy Marvel 3 on the Steam, buy Marvel 3 on PC, and play with all the modded characters. They have a
Oh
better
no,
roster than what
no.
Capcom's ever built anyway.
Marvel 2,
There's
this
no
Marvel
Marvel
2 is
game that Capcom has made that has a better roster than Marvel Revival on fucking Steam. I hate. Let me be clear. I hate those games. I think they suck ass.
which
But
one?
all of them. I hate all the Marvels. But
But
that
which game are you
Marvel
comparing
game
to?
on Steam has
Oh,
everybody in it. Literally, guys are just modding the world into that. If it's a Capcom character, they're in there. If it's a Marvel character, they're in there. It doesn't even
oh, you
matter.
mean Marvel 3, the Ultimate
Yeah,
Marvel 3
that
mod?
thing is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
The community's actually limiting it though. So when you get a community edition, it won't have a lot of characters that aren't Marvel characters or Capcom
That's
characters.
fine. If you're not trying to be a
Yeah, that's pretty
professional
cool.
sweat, then just play it with
Yeah,
who cares? Like
yeah.
you're not beating most of them dudes who you know don't
They
pay
did
to
a
play
good
that game
job.
all
They
day
did a
anyway.
good job. They Cyclops is what they've done with the characters I've downloaded and played. They play like, yeah, this is some are a little bit overpowered, right? But most of them
Oh,
play
it's
the
not gonna
way
be
they should
balanced.
have played. Like Psylocke plays, she's a weaker character, but she plays like Psylocke would have played. Um,
Is she like the Marvel 2 version?
she can do everything. She do the teleport. She has the same kind.
Directional cycle crushers and stuff.
Yeah, man, she's the quick low projectiles, like angled down. Like she has all her stuff. Cyclops has virtually everything. Like they made him. He's such a great character on there. Rashid
That's
plays like,
crazy that he's in there.
yeah, yeah. He plays like if Rashid transferred over. Cammy's Cammy. Um, they've been doing those guys. What they're basing off the move set from the other ones, and then because now they can, once they bust the MP framework open, so they can just take whole models from other games, even the real ones, and import their animations and everything. It allowed them to it's basically allowed them to feed Marvel Infinite characters over to
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate. But Max is also doing the Marvel Infinite
I saw
graphics
that.
update. Yeah,
Yep.
so he's cell shading everything and UI changes, and he's actually making some gameplay changes.
And you know what? Huh. You know what? The very same thing that they're doing, it would be nothing for Disney and Capcom to NDA that thing straight to hell and make them stop.
Oh, well, it doesn't even matter
Because
because
well,
like,
it doesn't matter, but this is what these corporations do when they want to force you to buy something.
oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
say
yeah.
again from the top of the mountain, if you only got an Xbox and you ain't trying to buy a Switch or a PlayStation, you ain't got a PC, steal
Nah,
that shit.
don't steal.
Steal it. Steal it.
Theft is
This
a
man,
bad
this man
phrase.
steals. This man steals. Don't
I
listen
don't
to this
steal
man.
nothing.
I
I don't.
steal. I
Yeah, I don't.
definitely steal.
Shit.
You're a fucking liar.
What do I
Anyway,
steal? No, what do
so
I steal?
games.
No, I don't.
Really?
Yeah, I buy all my games. Think about it. What I don't steal anything. I don't steal
Oh my
movies.
god. Technicalities
Yeah, I
are
don't steal
motherfuckers.
nothing.
They're all stolen.
No, they're not. I don't steal. My library's
Say
purchased
it
with
without
my
lying.
cash.
Say it without laughing.
My library's purchased. I have
He just laughed. That's enough.
I have 10. I have over 1,000 games that I bought through Steam. There's no way to steal.
Okay, no. We're not talking about Steam.
Yeah. I bought a hard drive with some games. That's it. I don't use
Oh,
it. I don't use that shit.
you own all 38,000 of those games on there?
I don't even have that hard drive no more. All my
Okay.
hard drives got wiped. Yeah, man. I don't have nothing. I don't steal.
They
I
got
don't
wiped?
steal. Yeah, I had to go through. I was trying to back up my music library, so I thought I was gonna move my Mac over
Oh
to the
boy.
Mac, and I'm basically gonna have to move from Mac to PC for music now. Cause I
Huh?
can't, I can't update my Mac OS, and I can't justify buying a whole new Mac
Jesus
just to do
Christ.
music creation when everything's AI focused. You know what I mean?
That's fair, I
Like
guess.
even all the native instrument stuff is switching over to AI.
I
So
can't imagine you moving to Windows for creative shit, but whatever.
yeah,
I
I
guess.
just I just got extra Macs. I got extra Windows computers that are like Windows 11 sitting around because I bought them handheld.
Right.
So it's easier, and those can run. You know,
You just need a dock. Did you
you
did you
need
set up
that.
that VR headset yet?
I set them both up. I
Okay.
set them both up. Set up the Sony one, and I set up the
I don't know if there's even a point to that one. Boy, I
yeah,
regret I
they
did this.
stopped.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that right quick.
Well, yeah, they're dumping it. They're not moving money into it anymore, but they're coming out with a peripheral to allow you to use it. They're kind of doing what what Google did with
With the
their
Stadia controllers where
yeah,
you
yeah, which that's pretty honorable. Like, okay, yeah, you got us. You obviously can't refund us, right? But
yeah,
at least you can let us use it for other purposes.
for the price of $60.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, they should have sent that to us.
they should have just
That
sent
should
it
have
to
been
us,
free.
but whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think where they messed up was off rip, didn't make this thing work on PC because they somehow thought that most people would be willing to spend $1,100 damn near to play
yeah,
VR on PS5. And now even with this dongle, you're losing like pretty much all of the most attractive features of the headset once you put it on a PC.
yeah.
So you lose the eye tracking. I think the screen resolution is worse. You don't have the full 180 degrees motion.
The res
Like
will be the same. Yeah,
the
the
res
res
will
is
be the
good,
same. So
but no
it's
eye
the
tracking,
my eye
none of the other
tracking.
features. Yeah,
Yeah, no haptic feedback. Bunch of
yeah.
bullshit. It is what it is. Uh, you know,
That's the problem. That's the
at
true
least
problem.
those cell phone tablets are selling well because apparently you guys love that stupid shit. But it's I don't get it. Like,
VR's a hard sell one, and then two,
first one
they
wasn't.
sold a unit at a loss because they basically used their console strategy for a peripheral.
Yeah,
And they shouldn't have did that. They should have came out with a weaker. Nintendo showed them like, man, this is our VR, is a Labo kit, right? Like Nintendo's only swung at VR going the cheapest route since
with the Lambos. Yep.
yeah, like the Virtual Boy, they felt the heat on that. It is a VR, AR, and Connect style interaction is definitely the way of the future. But it's got to get
You should
light.
just say connect.
Well, yeah. The Connect, your body being read by light sensors, so it knows where everything is. Like that
Oh
technology was
boy.
so far ahead of itself. Like
Yeah,
it was
and
crazy.
Microsoft got hung
To get yeah, same way
by
with this, right?
the tree by, and it's just like, but everybody has Alexas and Google Homes in their house
Yeah,
now,
everybody says they want technological advancements.
until somebody tells them it's happening. Then they don't want it.
Yep.
So
Or till they get it and then they decide it's not what they thought it was, right? Like everybody wanted to play with Wii nunchucks until they got to play with Wii nunchucks. Um,
what
truth of the matter,
the Meta Quest and the Meta Quest is 3 is so good. It's
yeah,
so
and
good.
that one, because you don't gotta plug it in anything, it's already got an advantage. Like you want like making things independent. If you're gonna make it an independent market, make it independent of needing anything else.
Make it so that it's compatible with, but it doesn't
Yeah,
need to be. Like, I think Microsoft's like very, very light integration into Meta is the smartest thing they could have did. Like, yeah,
yep,
you can play Game Pass on it and you get a big screen. And that's
yeah,
all they need to do.
yep. They just need support because remember Microsoft even killed
They
what was
killed their
their
HoloLens. They killed
no,
it.
not just that. They killed the VR suite for Windows.
Yeah,
That's what we
yeah,
just did. Yeah.
yeah. They got rid of it.
And that's where I made my virtual office using that. They
It's
just stopped updating it.
sometimes you have to realize that um like because that was the problem Sega had, right? Sega didn't know when to just bow out and let stuff go.
Yeah.
Or
Oh
they,
shit.
they or, they, or they would do it too prematurely, and they lost the trust of consumers and developers with that. So,
Yep.
and look where they are. I mean, they're better, way better now than they were when it initially happened, but they were in a bad spot for a minute.
It,
Um,
it's a different market mentality at the console level where we want console guys want their innovation. PC guys just want more power and speed. Like they're
yep.
real simple. More power, more speed, more portability.
So
That's
they
it.
can
Like
run
everything else.
Minecraft at 8K.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Uh, that's a joke, but it's not. Have you seen the leak for the Mortal Kombat 1 Year 2 DLC set?
No. Who are they
Have you been
saying?
keeping up with MK1 at all? Because MK1 has been
Uh
getting a lot of community hate from like I don't know why people. I think people don't like the cameo character thing, but like
yeah, so would assist force games to be played in a totally different mindset. There's a different level of creativity and reaction and reading that an assist brings into a game.
okay,
Mortal Kombat's never been about that type of gameplay.
right,
Me personally, I'm a Katana fan. This is the best Katana's ever played. So, even though I understand she had better zoning in 10 and she could do everything in 11, depending on how you build her. But because of the way this game plays and the assist can cover her approach, that's something she's never had, right? So she's never had the ability to. She's always been a footsie kicker. She can always shuffle back 1-2, that kind of thing into to fan loop. She's always had that kind of stuff. But to be able to do it and then have like striker assist come out, keep it safe,
right. It's crazy, crazy work.
changes the gameplay, right? And so when I watch any Mortal Kombat, I'm usually watching for Katana play. So I watched Jenny Taylor, Red Row.
Okay,
It was set against Sonic Fox. I've been watching Troy Avise. He's back, just kicking butt. And those are the two main people I watch. But I did watch the championships with Fox. Taking on the first last time he took on Nicholas. This time he took on what's Nicholas's brother, the twin,
I forgot his name.
Scorpion or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the twins are still hanging in. Silas 3-0 everybody. He 3-0 everybody, including Ninja
yeah. There
Killer.
was some controversy behind that. They were saying that they kind of buffed the character for him to win or something like that.
That's
I mean,
very
I
good.
can
He
I
plays
guess
everybody.
I don't know enough to speak on that, but I know that that
It
guy
was
plays a
BS.
lot of NRS games and
It's BS
he's
because
just really good at that shit.
Nicholas and his brother are still two of the best guys to ever do it, and they were also playing Johnny Cage, so it don't matter. He just ran with Cage. That's all. He ran with Cage. He ran a press with Cage. He used the clone assist that allows him to get those three crazy, abilities to mix up and reset his approach, combo from stuff that Johnny Cage normally doesn't combo from. Like and Cage is the best. Cage has the best strengths in that game. Period.
Hmm.
Period.
He's
He has the best block strings. Got the best high-low mix-up. He doesn't have a projectile though, so he's designed to be the ultimate rushdown character.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And well, the data mine that I alluded to earlier is saying that Cyrex Sector, new Cybot, Ghostface from the Scream movies, Conan the Barbarian, and the
Oh,
T-1000 are the next 6 characters that are playable in the
Conan, huh?
new year. Yeah, Conan is
That's
I'm
pretty cool.
guessing that's another reason to have Arnold Schwarzenegger's likeness in the game because
Yeah,
it'll
yeah,
probably be
yeah,
the movie Conan and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
not the
yeah.
one from Jason Momoa. And then the T-1000. I mean, now you can have Arnold Schwarzenegger versus God, what's the actor's
Liquid,
name? Uh,
liquid.
yeah, the liquor one. That's the one from T2. What's the
Yeah,
actor's name though?
I forget his name. Patrick something.
Yeah. So
That's cute. Like that's cool.
yeah, it sounds like I really liked Robert Patrick.
Yeah,
I really like what they did with the season one as far as the guest characters. They did a lot of the,
a lot of
especially
superheroes.
with the Homelander and I was just about to say Homelander and Omni Man, where they actually had
And
a
Peacemaker.
lot of their stuff from their comic book panels and Peacemaker. Yep. So
I was
I
hoping they
cool.
keep with the superheroes, man. Actually,
Looks like they're doing movie guys, and
yeah, horror
if
next
I
time
had
around.
to guess, well, yeah, movie guys, Ghostface. If I had to guess, that Conan the Barbarian is definitely going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger's Conan. So yeah, pretty cool list.
Yeah, he's our only. He's only him and Jason Momoa are cinematic Conans, right? He might be both. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah. It's him and Jason. Well, Jason Momoa is a WB guy because of Aquaman, so it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a bad list. I don't hate it. Um,
Scream guy, Ghostface is weak, but Sector Cyrex are given. I thought they would. I thought that because they're bringing Takeda back into the story, him and like Bojan would probably make it.
I mean, Ghostface, I think is making the rounds because last year he was in Call of Duty, so he's like making the rounds, right?
Yeah,
He's
they
been
got to
in
do
this
something with
shooter.
that franchise. Now
Yeah,
that everybody left the movie
everybody
franchise.
left. I think that's the problem. Like they're trying to keep it
Yeah,
in the minds of people
yeah, yeah.
because they've had some turbulence and
Just
political
give it to
issues
Michael
with
Blum.
the
Just give it to Michael Blum. He'll rock it.
yeah, Blumhouse got a whole games lineup
Yeah.
now, which is
Yep.
really awesome, right?
And it's the same mentality that I've been saying that they should do. All the developers are getting a fixed budget, the same way he does his movies. It's the only way you can work. You quit. They have to take. So you know why games are called AAA games, right?
It's the budget. It's budget based, right?
Ah, man, it's credit based. So they took it from the
Oh,
credit
okay.
industry, right? And so AAA means that if you invest a lot, you're hoping to get a lot back. So
Oh
all
boy.
the investment is happening just like producer level investment where they're dumping the money in so they can recoup way more on the backside. So they were running the AAA games the same way they were running the big budget movies. But the same tech that took out the big budget movies, that took out the big budget albums, is going to take out the games. Already has, right? Like you keep seeing these cheaper games do better and better and better. And
Return on investment is just naturally better, especially if the game is
yep,
being good, right? Like
especially when you're talking about groups. Let's give them their flowers now.
absolutely.
Let's talk about what From Software and Larian and um the Call of Duty guys. This is Treyarch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Specifically Treyarch. Let's talk about what some of these companies kind of do. They come out with the same game over and over again, and because that, right,
And they
or same
iterate.
type. Yes,
2K, Madden's.
yes. And
Yep.
so over a period of time, when you got the right guys there, and they've got all the data on what worked after this series and this series and that series, they're able to come up with a version that's the best version, right? And sometimes it's just them adding to it. But you saw a jump after Divinity 2, Divine
Mm-hmm.
Divinity 2, right? Once they moved into uh uh the Divinity what is the Divinity games called that are like the Baldur's Gate ones?
I think those are Divine Divinity, and then Divinity. Oh no, you talking about the Divinity Original Sins. The original
Original
Sins
Sins,
game.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So once you moved into the Original Sins, that was them saying, okay, we've done all our Divinity play tests. We understand, everything we learned from Divinity. Let's apply that to a CRPG architecture more like Baldur's Gate. And you got they actually killed it in the first Divinity, right? Divinity Original Sin. They came out and killed it. But then part two was them taking everything that worked and making it better. And then they did it again with Baldur's Gate 3. And they took their time.
Mm-hmm.
FromSoft is the same kind of game developers, right? Uh, everything is kind of a sequel. from all the Souls like all the the Armor Cores. There are 6 of those now, right? Every time they make one, they tend to get a little bit better and better. Like to me, every Souls game got better and better from the original Dark Souls. For how much I played once
Right.
again, but graphically, uh, input wise, reactability wise, my interest, they kind of piqued that Bloodborne because that's I mean the new one is definitely some Lovecraft, Elden, God kind of stuff as well in the fantasy world, but putting it more in Yarnum is Yarnum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, but those kind of companies, I'm seeing it with Nampai Bando's. I'm sorry, Bandai Namco's RPG group because I'm now playing their
Tails.
RPGs slowly. Man, well, I started out my RPG run with what was it, Scarlet Nexus.
Yep.
That was where I started at, like, because
Very similar to Tails.
very similar to Tales, very similar to Dragon Quest. It's a lot of the same language that those games have, including Nino Kuni. Like they all have a lot of the same language. Um, and it's a different language than Final Fantasy, and that's also a different language from like Persona, right? And
Right.
even Persona's language is a lot different than Shin Megami Tensei, and that's the same developers. So it's very interesting that once they develop these lanes, they can keep going at it. But that's what we're seeing. Street Fighter, Mortal, like all the fighting games to me are at their best version of that they've ever been. So people can say how much they like Street Fighter, Third Strike, whatever. 6 to me is years beyond that.
Right.
Um, I prefer MK1 to any MK since 10, and I will still play MK1 over 10. Um, you know, I thought the Marvels got more accessible. I'm on that end of it.
Yeah, they
Um,
definitely did things. I hate those games, but they definitely
yeah,
did a lot of things they could to make it so that a scrub like me could get into it,
yeah,
and I
they
still
made
didn't like it.
they
But
made them player. They playable.
God
Three
bless
is three is a game where three is like Skullgirls, where you got to learn it to even remotely enjoy it. It's like Skullgirls. It's like Under Night and Birth. Like there's not really a fun casual way to play those games.
it. Right.
Even though Under Night has a chain combo, auto combo system, that's a very technical game. Um, but when you see these companies and they keep making the game, over time, yes, does it seem to stifle the creativity of the organization? Yeah, but at the same time, you gotta
With
let them
that
rock.
much money on the line, you kind of have to play it safe.
Yeah, you also
Uh,
have to let these guys develop their craft right before you force them to move into something else.
yeah, because so my thing is, and I don't mind it. A lot of people complain about this stuff, but it's just like for me, I was an adult during the PS 2 era and the PS3 era. I remember when there were multiple games in every genre to pick, and all of them were of similar quality, right? Call of Duty wasn't the only good shooter back then. As a matter of fact, my favorite Activision shooter of all time in order would actually be Soldier of Fortune 2 and then Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Because the multiplayer in those games, especially Return to Castle Wolfenstein with the objective based multiplayer,
Best
that game was amazing.
best
But
RPGs in any game.
Call of Duty cannibalized the hell out. Like there was no reason for them to make those anymore
Oh yeah,
after Call of
Soldier
Duty
Fortune
came
got
out.
smoked. Soldier Fortune
Those
got
sorts of
smoked.
the whole pack got
But
smoked.
they did that to themselves though with that terrible part 3.
Yeah, it was a global something game. It was a budget
Yeah,
game. They
yeah.
literally went straight budget. But like, even though I love those games, right?
Too expensive.
I understand as much as I hate what Activision did and cannibalizing most of their library and forcing their teams to play Call of Duty, it's the game that makes money for them. And it's like when
Yeah,
I look at the graveyard of studios that kept trying to like everybody like the Warhammer 2 game, right? Looks amazing. The Warhammer 40K game
hmm
looks amazing. There when THQ was still alive, and I'm not talking about THQ Nordic, I'm talking about the original THQ,
yeah,
which
yeah,
had an amazing lineup of games year in and year
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
When they were still around, they had plans for a game called Warhammer 40K Dark Tide. And this game, if you look up the trailer for it, Warhammer 40K Dark Tide, every Warhammer unit you can think of was in this game. It was a third person shooter. I'm talking about all of the tanks, all of the mechs, all of the infantry characters from
Mhm.
any faction.
Yeah.
Everything was in there. And between the cost of that game and them stupid drawing tablets that they made for every console that didn't sell worth a damn, they died. And it's like there were a lot of ambitious, innovative teams. Remember Midway, the original Mortal Kombat publishers? Midway used to
Mhm.
do all kinds of incredible stuff, and none of it sold, and they died because they didn't stick to particular things that they didn't pace themselves. Just like you said, you can't just keep throwing as a AAA studio stuff against the wall. If you don't set a certain budget and boundaries on how far people can go,
Yep.
then you're just taking the risk of losing
Yep.
more and more money. And this,
Lock the
I've
budgets
watched
down.
a ton of studios that I love die. The main reason why Urban Reign is never coming out again is because they let them go wild with the budget, and the game didn't connect.
Yep.
It didn't connect, and it was as fun as the multiplayer mode was. The mode that ended up being reviewed and weighing the game's uh critic score was a single player mode, and nobody gave a damn about it. And it became obscured to to the few people who actually
Yep.
dove deeper into it. And like I miss those days, right, where you would get like a what's the game Rockstar made with the killer you were
Oh,
like a
Manhunt.
man. I miss the days, man.
I
But they also
never
but
played
they
that
also
game. I
made
tried.
LA. They also played LA Noir. They also made LA Noir. They also made The Warriors. They
Yeah,
made
yeah,
great
yeah.
games, but I understand completely why it's like, yeah, we only make Grand Theft Auto, and every 10 years we also make a Red Dead. I get it
Yeah, I mean,
because they're
it's
safe bets.
well, not just that, those games take a lot of resources to make, and they're making them correctly,
If that's what I'm saying.
and
If you're gonna do them right,
it's
yeah.
yeah, and it's their it's what they excel at. Like pulling the Forza guys off to do Fable is cool, but
If it doesn't work, then you ain't gonna see Fable again for a while.
well, I mean, it's just that why not turn in another internal studio that's great at making RPGs and to give them
Well,
Fable? You know
so
what I mean?
so that's not completely what happened, right?
Yeah,
They have people on board for their team who know the Forza Tech engine.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
still making Forza 6, which is supposed to take place in Japan.
Yep.
But they hired a whole new staff and opened up a whole new building just to make Fable. So it still can end up sucking ass, right? It looks interesting so far.
Yeah, yeah. It looks
Yeah,
it looks
but
entertaining already.
but they didn't force the racing car guys. Like that's kind of like is disingenuous of them to say, yeah, this is the Forza team, because we all know those guys are making Forza Horizon 6 because Forza Motorsport didn't land well. They're making Forza Horizon 6, and that's probably gonna come out next year.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it beats Fable to market. But I I know for a fact they hired a whole bunch of staff. They went up like 200 or 100 something staff, and they opened up a whole new building just for the Fable team. So
that's
that's not
really
even
cool.
really the actual Forza guys. Those guys are still making racing games.
Yeah, yeah. They're really cracking down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So and then the one cushion the game has is, even if it's kind of ass, it's gonna be in a service where people can just at least try it once.
yeah.
Yeah.
It because of its nature, as long as it's clean and it works, and hopefully they take an episodic approach to the content
That would be smart.
instead of just releasing a game to keep people kind of hooked onto it.
That way
Um,
you could literally just get, because their thing seems to be like, correct me if I'm wrong. You saw the presentation from Microsoft, right?
yes, I saw all three of them.
So the guy they introduced, is he a comedian too? Because I remember last year the guy they introduced, he's the guy who was on the IT crowd, or what was that British show, the It Crowd? They were IT guys.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was him, a white guy, and a chick, and that guy's from that. and he's also in The Watch with Ben Stiller and a couple other movies.
Okay.
Yeah, but that guy who ended was the Giant. He's a famous British comedian who's done a couple of crossover films. So I'm pretty sure the guy they introduced this year is a British comedian as well. Like they're
Okay.
kind of keeping the essence of Fable having like this tongue in cheek comedy to go along with all of the stuff that happens in the
Yeah,
universe.
yeah.
But episodic makes sense, but I don't know if the DLC roadmap is anything like Forza, there will be a lot of post-release content for it.
The games that if you're not going to make small games in this kind of like subscription service, some of your games should be small. You should release as many of these kind of small,
Yeah, like they got
single
a
sacrifice kind of games, beat them in 6 to 10 hour kind of games.
Sacrifice. I think was a good idea. I think OD is going to be one of those smaller experience style games for the Kojima heads. God bless your souls. Towerborn. Towerborn's going to be one of those. Smaller budget beat 'em up. That's it's kind of going to be a live service that team can kind of make money off of. And from what I heard, everything I heard about it's supposed to be pretty fun. Matter of fact, I'm expecting to see that one at Gamescom. I wouldn't be surprised if that one gets shadow dropped at
I think they're
Gamescom
going
in
to
August.
show some actual in-game footage of gameplay footage of State of Decay 3.
What they showed was supposedly in game. I'm like, okay, that looks exciting. Like the forest looks denser.
Mm-hmm.
If it like State of Decay really at launch just needs to work. If they can launch the game and it works, they'll get me to play it longer than I played 1 and 2 because 1 and 2 just especially 2 was a mess at launch. But
I have a problem with those games. Is those games?
you gotta really love zombies to
I
play
gotta go
that
to
shit.
bed. I gotta go to bed soon. But those games, man, they are literally designed like a soap opera. They're designed as if this is the only game you're playing. They're almost like MMOs like that, where
Yeah, yeah.
they're really like, if you play those games, you're gonna be like one of those people that play Minecraft or something, where you're just in that world, And the
Yeah,
GTA guys are the same. They're just
they're
in that
still
world.
updating 2 to this day. They're still and like dude,
Yeah.
people won't drop that damn game. But and God bless them. Like I say, if you love it,
Yeah, well, if you want
then
to
you
play,
love
if
it.
you want to keep giving Destiny your money to get to the end of the story, when the, when you'll get that exact same story in the Starfield DLC for $7,
Man, okay.
yeah, go for it.
You have gone off the reservation.
You thought that was a Destiny commercial. Like, what is this?
Oh yeah, well, yeah,
It looked so cool. I was like, oh, I forgot there was a
yeah.
whole mod.
Yeah, I mean, they've already jumped the shark on the game. They
Yeah,
got Darth Vader suits with the lightsaber in that game right now.
yeah. And now they have community creations. Oh, that thing is gonna be
That
tiring.
all of those negative videos about that game and
Mm,
the community is about to turn it into a whole different
yeah.
monster.
So we're back in a circle. So there's two different mentalities. Xbox uses the community to fix their games,
Yep.
as does FromSoft. Now the question is just what kind of game do you want to play? Do you want to play a game where the hardest thing you have to fight is your encumbrance, or do you want to play a game where the most difficult boss is the camera? That's the
Okay. Well, with that, we are
Kingdom
going to wrap it up. Any
Hearts.
closing thoughts?
Kingdom Hearts has a better camera. No,
Okay.
I lie. Kingdom Hearts camera's terrible, but it's such
Okay.
a good game.
Closing
Oh, real
thoughts.
closing thought. Real closing thought. Sales. You guys know what's happening on Thursday. Get your money together.
Game sale.
Steam is
Hold
back.
on to your butts.
Humble and fanatical, and CD Keys are already popping. CD Keys has a Horizon Forbidden West for $35 right now.
Really?
Yeah, everybody's already taking shots right now. The Steam Deck OLEDs I'm sorry, Steam Deck LCD 512 is less than $400 right now.
Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Your poor wallets.
Yeah, you guys are done.
I've already suffered.
Sony's out of control with their sales right now. Sony's really out of control with their sales right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they freezing up.
I will close off by saying this. When all else fails,
Oh, Jesus.
when you really, really feel like, man, they didn't put Marvel on my plastic box.
Oh my God.
For
Just buy the other box.
$20,
Buy the other box.
you can get that dev mode and steal that shit. Good night, y'all.
Just buy
See you in
Power
a couple
Rangers
of
Battle
weeks.
for the Grid.
Just steal that shit. Just steal it.
Just buy Power Rangers.
No. $20. Just steal that shit. All right, yeah. Steal it. Steal it.